Welcome to Portland Film Beat. I'm Dave Poland, and my guests tonight are Ian Stout and Robin Vada. I want to thank you both for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Ian, let's start with you. Would you tell us a little bit about your background?
Absolutely.
Where'd you train?
I trained at the Art Institute of Portland. Before that, I was an avid snowboard instructor and then a whitewater raft guide in the summer. And so I had a lot of time behind the camera doing snowboard videos with my friends,
Okay.
Which led me into whitewater rafting videos with more friends,
Okay.
which led me to the Art Institute. So
Nice. And you, Robin?
I actually went to the University of Kansas about 10 years ago. I did a communications degree with a focus in broadcast video production.
Okay.
And I've been editing for the past 17 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your preferred edit suite?
Oh,
Premiere Pro or Final Cut?
I've always been a Final Cut person. They changed it radically recently, but I'm still a Final Cut person.
Okay. So what first got you interested in film?
I think the bug really hit me first when I was watching Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, and I was 13 years old, and I watched the behind the scenes and saw just all the just armies of people, that creatives just all going at it to make this amazing film. And I thought, wow, yeah, I want to be in a creative world like that someday.
Right. And so what got you interested in editing, and then?
Well, I think film in general, I was always really interested in space and space flight when I was a little kid. And so I saw movies like Top Gun, and then I saw, well, I guess Top Gun was my first one where I really wanted to be a pilot, and then I really wanted to be an astronaut. And when I realized I couldn't really be an astronaut or a pilot, I thought maybe I'll just make the movies about them.
That's good.
And so for a long time I had this kind of dream that I was going to make a movie out of the Apollo 13 story. But then when I was about 12 years old, Ron Howard went and did it. And so I was kind of mad at him for about a second for stealing my movie idea, but couldn't really hold a grudge because he did a really good job on it.
Okay.
And Ron Howard actually had a really weird connection with him because I grew up in this tiny little town in Kansas with one of his cousins. And at a certain
really?
point, yeah, at a certain point.
So 6 degrees of separation type.
Yeah, a little less
Even
than
less,
6 degrees.
probably.
Yeah, and so I was really, really interested in film, and the family knew it. And so at a certain point, the kid, he was a kid, it was his second cousin or something, he had Ron Howard's MPAA, Motion Picture Arts or Association of America, membership card. Had a copy of it for some reason. Ron had given it to him for getting all A's in his classes or something like this. And so he had a copy of it, and his mom let my mom make a copy of it, and I carried a little laminated copy of that card in my wallet for years as inspiration.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Tell us about your current project. Where'd you come up with the idea? Who wrote it?
Yeah.
Just tell us everything you can
All
about it.
right. Actual Reality is the name of the film. It was my brainchild. I am a huge sci-fi geek, and I do a lot of studying and learning in the world of science fact, things that are on the horizon or this could be tomorrow. So I took a whole lot of research from that and started to build this world, and then from there these characters started popping up, and then from there those characters told me what kind of scenarios were going to happen, and fleshed out the script, and that's kind of where Robin comes in.
Yeah, so Ian wrote it, and I kind of edited a script, and then he had written in a pretty significant part for himself, and knew that he needed.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Why
I
not?
do.
That's what I do.
Why else would you write it?
He knew that he needed somebody to co-direct with him so that he would have a director while he was in scene.
Good for you.
Yeah, and once we started working together, we actually ended up directing all of it together because we just really worked well as a team. But Actual Reality is sci-fi film. As you can kind of tell from the image behind us, it looks very sci-fi. But it takes place in the near future, where virtual reality is possible. So going online means entering a realistic virtual world. And when you go
A
online,
little Matrixy?
little matrixy, but you know that you're going in.
Yeah.
You know, you're
It's a
conscious of the
choice.
fact it's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
you choose to.
you choose to,
All right.
and you can choose to look like whoever you want to look like. So that's your avatar, is who you.
Oh,
You
really?
could look like
Nice.
yourself, or you could look like someone else entirely. I could look like you when I go online, and nobody would know the difference.
There you are.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads to the
Well,
plot itself.
you know, it is true. You know, when you're online, you have no idea who's on the other end.
Very true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
So
a lot
this
of
is
they could
that
take
to
a
the
picture
next
of
level.
somebody, put it up there.
a lot of the
a
trouble that
biography.
ensues in the film, you can take it back to, you know, chat rooms and thinking you're chatting with
Yeah.
one person and you're not, and you know what happens if you accidentally fall in love with somebody and they're somebody completely different.
Yeah,
and
And,
it's-
then, and now what? So
that-
now
Yeah,
we're
it's
in a
creepy.
complete full submersion virtual reality with these hang-ups.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Right now, we're going to take a few moments and actually watch the trailer.
Oh, dibs on the hunk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this party is over.
How can something not real feel so fantastic?
Hi, I'm Rose. I'm a detective with Intercorp.
What the hell is Agent 01?
So how do you collect clues online? And how do you do your detective thing?
One must raise awareness somehow.
Wow, that was really awesome, man.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Yeah.
It's an exciting film, and hopefully the trailer sort of communicates that sense of excitement
Yeah.
in it.
High energy and
Very high energy.
just stuff's happening, you know.
Yeah.
What are a few things you learned making this film?
We learned a lot. Actually, going into this, we knew that we wanted to teach ourselves a lot of the tricks of the trade and put ourselves in the most difficult scenarios that you would run into on a film set, so that as we move into future projects and the budgets become bigger and more people are looking at us like, hey, you better nail this, we've been in scenarios where we've directed 30+ people, with extras and everything else on larger sets, and stunts, and I mean, you name it.
Crazy
It just goes
stunts.
on
We've
and on.
done the car stunts where we have 40-mile-an-hour winds and driving rain. We have multiple actors actually playing the same roles because you can be in the real world and the virtual world, which is also a challenge in itself. Yeah.
Who are some of the actors? I like when the directors name the people who are in their films.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
because
Right,
they deserve
absolutely.
the recognition here on
And
TV.
we've got a lot of people who are pretty well known, at least around the Portland area. We have our starring in the film are Willow Finney and Jennifer Ryan. We have Hannah Barefoot and Roshan Maloney. And we have some guest appearances by Janalee Hamblin, who is
I know who she
not
is.
only a wonderful actress, but also a teacher in town. And
I know
Katie
all of them,
O'Grady
actually.
also. Yeah.
And Michael
that's just
Patrick
only a
Connolly.
few. I
And that's
mean,
a few. We've got
yeah.
Michael
actually,
Patrick Connolly, I've
Matt
actually-
He's
Patrick
also in
Connolly
it.
has-
I've been
yes.
in a film with him.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. And Ian Stout, of course, is in
Yeah.
it. All in all, we have about 150 cast members.
Really?
that end up on screen.
on screen.
Probably
Wow.
about 35, 40 of them have speaking parts, and there's huge scenes with elaborate setups and online
Yeah.
world scenarios where everyone's in crazy wild makeup. So yeah, I mean, even if they didn't get a speaking role, almost every we're trying to
Okay.
get as many people in there as possible.
Who did the makeup?
We have a couple of different makeup people. Our principal makeup person is a woman named Ali Biaggi, who is wonderful. She moved to California recently, and we cried. No, we didn't really cry, but we felt bad.
Yeah.
Felt it.
Really
Okay.
bad.
We're gonna put her in the
Yeah.
budget to bring her back
Absolutely.
when the time comes.
Yeah.
Who did the camera work?
That would be Aaron Nelson.
Okay.
He did the camera
I've
work.
heard his name before. I've never met him. I'd like
Yep.
to.
He was the director of photography, so he is the genius behind all the amazing lighting setups that we have. And at times we would be running up to 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 cameras. So we had a
Multiple camera
revolving
people.
cast of a lot of really really talented folks.
Right. Did you
Austin
have-
Livingston was our B camera guy, really, really good as well.
Yeah.
You had a good. Who was the B camera person?
Austin
Austin
Livingston.
Livingston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've already touched on this, but what appeal do you think your film will have to audiences worldwide? I'm not talking just Portland, because hopefully this goes worldwide.
Absolutely. It's a sci-fi.
The sci-fi
Yeah.
part of it. Okay.
And it's a whole new twist on some ideas that just haven't quite been spun in this way before. And if you're a sci-fi geek, you're always wondering what's the next new bit of technology and how is it going to affect us. And so we kind of dabble with that. And
Yeah. Yeah,
Big
what's
time.
coming next as far as how humans interact with machines?
Yeah, what happens if we can upload our conscious mind into a computer, or create these super realistic avatars with full submersion virtual reality, where not only do you look like a real person online, but you can touch, taste, smell. I mean, you name it.
Everything.
Everything. Where will your brain be able to tell the difference between reality and your online world? I mean, there's going to come a day where you won't be able to, and then what is real? So a lot of
Right.
philosophical questions.
Yeah.
So this
but it's
could-
a fun movie.
This
It is
could bring
still
out
fun.
some new emotions in viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main emotion is excitement. It's really,
Okay.
it's a detective story. It's a sci-fi story. It's really kind of fast-paced and fun.
Okay. So is there a monster, a villain, or is it multiple villains, or can anyone be a villain in it?
There is a villain, actually.
villain,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's multiple
Not
levels
like
of
monster villain.
No.
But there-
No,
Yeah.
that's,
But yeah, is there a monster of a human being?
Yeah.
There's people who want to retain the power and control of things, and
Yeah.
people who don't want other people messing that up.
so how did you work with your cinematographer?
Very closely.
Good.
Yeah, try to.
Did he do the lighting? Did
He
you
would
do
do the
together?
lighting.
Okay.
At first, I would try to, because we both have a filmmaking background. We both know how to light a scene. We both know how, aesthetically, we have similar tastes, but there might be a few tweaks left and right where I might want to go this way and he might want to go that way. So sooner than later, I started to just trust him. I would say, this is what I want, and I'd walk away, and we'd kind of talk to the actors, and we'd come back, and he'd have the scene
Isn't that
lit.
wonderful
Oh,
when you
man,
can
it's
trust
so good.
someone to do that?
Yeah, and the
It
more I would
relieves you
walk
of
away,
so many things to do, other things you
Yeah.
have to do.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
by the end of the film, we were shooting the opening sequence last, or second to last, and that really paid off because literally we just walked through. I said we do it all in a Steadicam shot, and we had.
Oh, you did use a
you know,
Steadicam,
oh
so
yeah,
there's movement in it.
nine different points where he has to marks where he has to hit boom, 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 and then back boom, 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 and he nailed them all in very few takes. And I gave him the setup. He lit it, and I was totally hands off, and it was
Nice.
probably the best looking scene of everything.
Yeah.
So how do you work with the actors?
It's a collaboration, really. I mean, in our co-directing dynamic, what tends to happen is that Ian is more focused on the visual side, so he'll be working closer with the cinematographer, and then I'll be working a little bit more closely with the actors. We're both involved in both parts of it,
Okay.
but for the most part, he's in the visual and I'm in the performance side, and we really like to have a collaboration with the actors, so we'll allow the actors for the first couple takes to just bring whatever they're going to bring without us telling them a thing. And then we'll see from there if we need to, add some tweaks or build on what they've been doing. But we like to see what the actor brings before we put our own influence on there.
What is your favorite part of filmmaking?
I think for both of us, it's being on set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some magic about you've done all your pre-production, you've done all your work, and all around you is lights and cables and trucks and things happening, and then you peer through the lens, and there it is, your magical world that was once in your imagination, and now here it is playing out in real time right in front of you. And and when the actor is hitting their performance and the lighting looks good, and you're just like, you almost
It's
get
magic, isn't it?
you can actually watch and feel yourself leaning into the
Oh, I know.
viewer.
I've experienced
And
that.
that oh man, there's just nothing like it.
Actually, I wrote this thing one time, and I was working with the actors, and as they were saying the lines, I was going, my mouth was moving, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're
I
just so entranced.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
I
special about
understand
that.
that. It is great.
Yeah.
So, do you have a least favorite part about filmmaking?
Fundraising.
Oh,
I don't think anybody. I don't
it's
know anybody
awful.
who likes that.
Yeah, all across the board, we're all like, we know what to do once we have the money. It's just
Yeah.
finding it. But for me, it's just finding time to edit because I'm editing this our first film as we move forward.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to hand it off. But I really want to just get into every aspect of it and really know. I enjoy editing. I feel like I do a good job. She does an amazing job critiquing and keeping me.
I edit your edit.
She edits my edit, which is needed. You know, you always need that person
It's
to
actually
keep
good
you
to have
sharp.
someone
Oh,
else
so good.
edit.
Yeah.
And two
So-
eyes make it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just finding time is, sometimes a trick.
I worked with the director down, Stephen Savage. I was talking to him once, and he said that whenever he has an actor who wants to do it one way and he wants to do it one way, he goes, we'll do it both ways, and we're going to let the editor decide.
Yeah, that's
Great.
wise.
And
Yeah.
he said you'd be surprised how many times the editor takes the actor's way because
Yeah.
they knew
Yeah,
what
they know what they're
needed.
doing.
They know what their character needs in that moment.
Okay, how long did it take you to write the screenplay?
This one was actually a pretty quick turnaround time. I think I had from having all the 3x5 cards laid out to a final 90-page script in my hand. I want to say 4 weeks,
Wow.
and then another 5 to 6 months of back and forth, little revisions and cleaning it up. But yeah, the first initial push, it just
So you just
gushed
write
out
it.
of me.
I agree with you. You should just write
Just
it.
get it
and
on
when
paper.
it's done,
Absolutely.
then you can.
Right.
Yeah, and
when
we
it's flowing,
tweaked
it's
as we
flowing.
went. You know, even as we were shooting, writing a few extra scenes or a few extra lines here and there. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
They change as you go.
They do. They take a life of their own, but still the groundwork.
Because I find when I write, there's times where I can just write and it's flowing, and then there's other times it's like I'm at war with it.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. But I stay there and just do it, even
Right.
though.
Yeah.
And then you can always come back and fix it later. So
Yeah, absolutely. Who is your favorite screenwriter?
Oh man. Well, I mean, we've got
So hard to pick
a laundry
favorites.
list of
Yeah.
great writers, directors. I think I always fall back on Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Name a film.
Yeah, Amélie.
Oh, okay.
Yep, is probably his most famous. Delicatessen before that. So much fun. He just understands every nuance of the film before he steps foot on set or on location. And I don't know, he just creativity to the max. Every frame could be a painting on a wall. So from the visual side to his really deep characters, I mean, I don't know. I gush
Yeah.
over.
So do you have one that's different than Ian's?
You know, I can never pick favorites. I think for both writers and directors, I tend to gravitate towards people who have a really specific style. So say Wes Anderson, you go and see his films without even having seen the trailer because you just know his style is your style and you're going to go like it. Or Baz Luhrmann, same thing as far as directors. Other favorite directors, of course, I love Ron Howard because I have that kind of special connection of some sort. And then Jennifer Westfeldt actually is one of my favorite directors. She did Friends with Kids and Kissing Jessica Stein and Ira and Abby, very sort of relationship-based
Okay.
things. Yeah.
If you could work with a director, as an actor or assistant director, who would that be?
I don't know, I might do Jennifer Westfeldt just to be on a set where a woman is the director and getting the feel for how that feels different because I've worked with male directors before as well. I think people like J.J. Abrams, I know that you have said that before as well, because he's just fun and works on such an epic scale. And I think for both of us, we enjoy things that are on sort of a bigger scale. That's why we made Actual Reality, which is a blockbuster on a micro budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, so many great directors out there, and as much as I would love to be on a fly on the wall of someone like Jim Jarmusch, I think somebody who has my kind of energy on set would have to be J.J. Abrams, just because you watch the behind the scenes and you see him interacting, and he is just a little kid having so much fun.
Yes.
He works hard, he asks a lot from his actors, but he's right there with them every step of the way, and you just he loves his work, and that kind of high energy is exactly what I like to bring to the set. So I know I could just glean from that kind of a.
Yeah,
Right.
it's as much about having fun on set.
It
as
is, yeah,
'Cause
'cause if you can't
if
have
the
fun-
process isn't fun, then the product isn't going to be.
Right.
You got to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
And it will show in your work too.
It
so.
does. So I think there are times where there's some tension on set, and sometimes that comes out. But if it's the film, if it fits that genre of the film, sometimes it can be okay.
Yeah.
But generally, I think you should have fun on set.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a time and place to bring it down if there's an emotional scene that day.
Yeah.
Since you like science fiction, what's your favorite sci-fi film?
Ooh, that's
There's a lot of them.
Sci-fi
There are.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now,
Okay.
right now it's J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films. Like, there are often days when I'll just want to watch something like that, but there's nothing else that's that close in terms of just pure fun as what J.J. Abrams has done with Star Trek.
Yeah. Huge J.J. Abrams Star Trek fan. But I still got to stick with Blade Runner. Because
I love Blade Runner.
there's something, it stands the test of time, right down to the soundtrack. It's just still perfect.
Whenever it comes on, I'm just like, oh, Blade Runner, I want to watch a couple minutes of this. So, is there a genre, we've already talked about genres, you prefer science fiction, I take it?
Yeah.
And you prefer relationship type films?
No, I prefer science fiction generally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch anything actually except for horror. It really depends. I want to watch a good film that has good performance and good storytelling. So, but sci-fi is what I gravitate towards.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What do you consider, good elements of a film, or elements of a good film?
I think there are so many key elements in making a film that it's the culmination of all of them working together in concert. So. You've got a really good story, you've got good actors, you've got great cinematography, you've got a fantastic score, good editing pace. So much goes into making a good film, or a great film. So it's really everything working together to bring you this everything working together without one thing. It's not just a big action film. It's not just a relationship film. It's when all of those things come together seamlessly is what makes a great film for me.
And we were just talking about how often sound is underrated.
Sound is more important than people
sound
can
is
imagine.
so.
I'm actually going to have a sound person in here, not sound, in a few weeks.
Both sound design and soundtrack.
Do you have
as
a sound designer working with it, or are you doing that yourself?
Currently, Ian did the trailer.
I did the trailer, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
We do have a composer that's doing the soundtrack.
What is your next project?
We've got a lot of projects.
Yeah.
We're currently writing one that is more of a romantic comedy of sorts.
Of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll have its own unique twist to it, kind of like Jennifer Westphall's films.
Yeah.
Could be a romantic comedy, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're a league of their own.
Yeah.
So.
And then we've got a couple other feature films up our sleeves as well. We've got some shorts that we're working on right now. One of them is more of a Western with a little bit of a sci-fi twist, I think.
Yeah.
And that one we're going to need a lot of horses for, so we're still gathering the horses.
Where do you hope to see yourself in 10 years? Both of you were.
Yeah, well, I think we continue to be a creative team and continue to direct things, hopefully bigger and better things as we go.
Yeah, full-time working directors would make us happy.
So if people want to get a hold of you, they want to email you, there was an email you gave me?
There's a contact email. It's contact@actualrealitymovie.com.
Okay.
And if you go to actualrealitymovie.com, from there, as you poke around, there is that contact email. That's the best way to hit us up.
Okay, all right. I really had a great time, and actually we're kind of finishing up a little early here. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the film?
Gosh, I don't know. I think, I guess just a synopsis of the film. I don't know how much we covered that, but I think our favorite way to sum up the film is guy meets girl online in the virtual world. Guy realizes that girl is a cop. Girl realizes guy is a girl. All hell breaks loose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Lots
got
of back
quite a
and forth.
twist in it. So we'll
Okay.
see. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Anyway, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Robin, for being on the show. And
Thanks
I
for
also
having
want
us,
to
Dave.
thank my director, Ellery Nelson, because he does such a great job in the studio over there. I also want to thank my wife, who is also the producer, Carol, for doing such a wonderful job and helping out. And until next time on Portland Film Beat, I'd like to say shoot for the silver screen.